Hi, I'm Joe,
I'm Joe's mom.
and this is our channel, Eastside Vibes. Before we get into Genia, who is an up-and-coming artist that we wanted to talk about today, we wanted to talk about who we are and why we decided to make a channel and about our love for music, basically. So like I said, my name is Joe. And I am someone who is always constantly sending music to people. I'm one of those people that I am always looking for new music and I'm always sending it to my friends and family. I'm always looking for new music to find myself. I just love staying up to date, and I feel like I've always been like that, literally my whole life. And I think I kind of learned that from my mom here.
And I've always loved music. I grew up with music. My mom was constantly playing music when I was little. When I was doing activities growing up, music was always playing, so I could do the activities with the music. And it's just continued afterwards. And I think being a middle school teacher has also kept me up with music as well, because kids like listening to music all the time too. And Joe also has a blog.
Yeah, so a few years ago, I decided to start my own music blog because I wasn't feeling very fulfilled with my actual job. And like I said, I love sharing music with everyone. And I also have always had a love for writing, even though my job doesn't, I'm not a writer in my actual job. So felt like I could fulfill both of those things with my blog there. And I like to focus on new and old artists. I'll do reviews of big artists. I like doing reviews of up-and-coming artists.
You do a lot of local artists.
Yeah, I do a lot of local Milwaukee artists, which I'm sure we will be talking about on the channel at some point.
Right.
And yeah, so I've always wanted to make videos too, because I love watching. There's a lot of YouTube channels that I watch that are just like people that talk about a review and talk about music, including a few are people like Turning the Tables, for instance, who is a group of a son and his dad. And I thought it would be cool to come on here and talk with my mom, because she is one of the only people in my life who I feel like appreciate music the same way that I do. And yeah, I thought it would be fun way for us to talk about new stuff, because she loves staying up to date too. And yeah, so
That's what we're going to be doing with this. We're going to be talking about, like you said, new music, up and coming music, local music, and giving you the opportunity to hear our perspective on things, as well as to hear what we have to say about certain songs, or introduce you to new things that are out there.
And I know this is obviously a little rough right now. We're just getting used to this. We've never really tried making videos before. Neither of us are super tech savvy either, so we're figuring this whole thing out. We'll get a better camera, and yeah, we'll get the logistics down better.
Right.
But
You have to start somewhere.
yeah, exactly. And we figured this is where we're starting.
Right.
But
So let's start off with Genia. You had me listen to her.
yeah, so one place I love to discover music is TikTok. I feel like that app is say what you will about the app, but I feel like it's a very, very, very good way for new artists to expose themselves. And my personal page is full of a lot of new and up and coming music, just because that's how I've curated my timeline.
Right.
And one day, about a month ago or so, I had one of Genia's songs come up, and I immediately had to go to Spotify and download it, because I thought that it was pretty awesome. And then I discovered she had a new EP out that had actually come out like a week previously. And so I checked that out and reviewed it almost right away. And I knew that my mom would like Genia, because we grew up grew listening to a lot of R&B music.
Yes.
And she's an R&B artist who feels very retro and nostalgic, especially like her music feels very inspired by like the early to mid 2000s and even late 90s.
Yes.
And like I said, I knew my mom would appreciate her. And because I sent her stuff to a few other people, and my mom was the person who liked her the most.
Definitely.
So I felt like she would be a good person for us to start off this video journey talking about.
Right. And I think the one song to start off with is her song called Lana's Dream.
Yeah, that's the first song on the record. I know my mom got really connected to that one because in Lana's Dream, it's basically a recording of her grandma telling her that she thinks she's going to win a Grammy one day, and like basically like showing her how much she believes in her.
Right.
One thing is actually the way that her grandma talks to her reminds me a little bit of how my mom talks to me, like as far as like being inspired, like if you can make it,
do whatever you want
you can
to.
You can do whatever you want to.
Yep.
And I saw the clip on TikTok of Jania's grandma. Actually, it seemed, well, in the video it's focused on Genia, but you can hear Jania's grandma in the background speaking to her. And it also says in that video that her grandma recently passed away, so R.I.P. to her. Mm-hmm. But yeah, my mom really resonated with that one.
I did. It was beautifully done. Sad once I did not know that her grandmother has passed away. I'm sorry to hear that, but it's obviously she has a close connection with her family, which is wonderful, and her family obviously believes that she can be successful. And her grandma, you can hear her in her voice in the song that her grandma was her biggest cheerleader, and she's going to take that with her, I feel, to be her driving force to continue to be strong in music. Yeah,
and the song that I feel like most people have heard by her right now is Introducing. That song has sort of gone viral on TikTok and YouTube. And it's funny, I wrote in my blog that I saw in the comments on YouTube for that video that I forgot what is word for word, but basically the person said that it seems like I'm discovering someone great, like Rihanna when she was young.
Yep.
And I definitely can understand that feeling and that sentiment, because the instrumental for the song makes me think of like mid or late 2000s and early 2010s Beyonce music.
Her voice even sounds like Beyonce a little bit too in this one. Yeah.
Like particularly, it reminds me of music from Beyonce's like self-titled album from that era.
I agree.
Like the instrumental is like very like bold, very grand. I love like the horns. It's the type of music that will
it'll pull you in.
Yeah, it makes you feel good when you hear it.
Yeah, it's an upbeat song, going from Lana's Dream, which is the first song, and then to Introducing, where she's really introducing herself, I feel, to the music world, to the industry, to everyone, saying, you know, this is who I am. But the way the sound comes across, like Joe said, is very uplifting, and the beat is good, and you want to listen to it more than once after you listen to it the first time.
Yeah, it's a very like triumphant sound.
Definitely.
For sure. And it's funny, my mom thinks her voice on that song sounds like Beyonce. I actually think her voice sounds like Rihanna on that song. It almost, to me, feels like a Beyonce instrumental and Rihanna's vocals. And the next song on the record, another one that I really like, this is the one that I actually got exposed to her by, the song that I found her off of TikTok. It's called The One. And The One definitely sounds this is a song that I actually sent to my mom originally because I knew that she would appreciate this type of instrumental. it
Oh, very
basically,
good.
it definitely sounds like it's from like the early 2000s.
Yes.
It got, when I heard it, I initially thought of artists like Alicia Keys or
Yes,
maybe
yes.
like Brandy or Monica.
Yes, I hear Alicia Keys in that whole song, just like you said, the instrumental, even her voice has a bit of a sound to it as well. But that it's a really, I really liked that song as well, and I liked that whole vibe to it, the way the music went, and I mean, if you're going with an Alicia Keys flow, that's the girl to go after.
I love how like how I guess sparse the instrumental is compared to some of the other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the other stuff on the record feels a little more grand,
Right.
I guess.
Right, I agree.
And this one sounds a little more laid back and, not as big. And because of that, it really makes you focus on her vocals, which are very, very good in this song.
Right.
Like my mom said, her vocals are reminiscent of Alicia Keys and how big her range is. To be honest,
Her range is huge. Throughout the entire album, you will hear a difference in her range on a lot of songs. It's not just Beyonce. It's not just Alicia Keys. You can hear many other people, like we said, Brandy, SZA, I think you said. And I think that leads to the next song, which was On My Knees.
On My Knees. Yeah, so On My Knees is, I think it's like a minute long.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I wish that might be my favorite like instrumental on the record.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that the song was longer. That's like my only, I don't know if I want to say gripe, but
Right.
my only thing about it is it's a short song.
It is. It is.
And it's very powerful for what it is. The instrumental is a lot different than basically anything else on the record. I think it sounds a lot more modern.
Yes.
It's a lot more like hazy, I guess, like atmospheric.
Oh, yes. Good way to describe it. Yes.
It's, I see that, or I've seen online that. So, by the way, we actually didn't say this EP is called 4 p.m. in the Ville. And the Ville, from what I understood from interviews of Genia, is basically like a hood or a neighborhood in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's very, it's in the desert and it's very poor and I guess, I don't want to say run down, but kind of like trailer home.
Yes, yes, I saw that. A lot of trailer parks probably in that area.
And the instrumental for On My Floor honestly makes me think of like that area.
Mm-hmm.
Like it makes me think of like being in the desert on a hot day. It's like you're sweating. It's very it's just very like warm.
Right. Well, even in her cover for the album, she has herself in a mobile home. And, with this being her first introductory album, I'm sure she wanted to make it seem more of this is where I am, this is where I live. So I have a feeling that having that trailer that she was sitting in the cover was depicting the Ville where she lives, the lifestyle and how people live in that area.
Yeah. On My Knees, to me, is the song on the album that like represents like that area the most.
Right. I agree.
And her vocals on that song are very powerful too.
Mm-hmm.
She has a lot more of like a full voice on that song, in my opinion, than in some of the other tracks.
Right.
Some of the other tracks, she's a little more, I don't want to say reserved, but just not as like powerful.
Yeah, she lets out her voice in that one. It's her voice. It's not her sounding possibly like someone else. It's her.
Yeah. And another song that I know my mom really liked is Jaded. And this one we didn't like, or we didn't necessarily like it for the instrumental or the sound, but more for the sentiment of the lyrics.
Yes.
Because to me, on that song, it sounds like she's talking to people in her life, particularly her dad. and how she doesn't want to be like that, and how she is feels, I mean, it's literally called jaded, and how she feels jaded by the people in her life, slighted by the people in her life.
Whereas ironically, I thought that she was feeling more jaded possibly by the music industry, because she keeps talking about the fact that she was taking names. And so that was the perspective I took. So it was interesting for us to talk about that, because like art, music it's all conceptual. It's what one person sees, another person might see something else, and it's the same in music. He heard one thing, whereas I heard something else, but regardless, the song it's a really good song. It's fantastic.
I will say that I can see where you're coming from with her not her being slighted by people in the music industry, because I know from the research I did on her, it seems like she's been trying to make music and break in for a while here.
Yeah.
And obviously this is the first time she's really starting to make a name for herself. So,
and if she had to really become popular over TikTok, then it makes you wonder how much was the industry pushing against her.
Yeah, if she had been signed before and it never worked out, or what happened for her.
Right.
And I do wonder if that's what happened. And so maybe this song is weirdly talking about both of those things.
Could be.
Her
Could
dad
be.
and people in the industry.
Could be.
The last song on the record, another one that I wanted to cover, is Gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
And like On My Knees, to me it sounds a lot more modern than a lot of the other stuff on the record. It's also a lot shorter than a lot of the other stuff. And it's another one I wish was longer. One thing about this song that's way different than the rest of the songs is her delivery.
Yes.
Her delivery on this one feels a lot... She's more sing-rapping as opposed to just singing.
Yes.
And it feels like it's more set for 2023, whereas a lot of her music sounds like it's set for more like the early 2000s.
Right.
Which is cool, but I could see younger people latching onto this one more.
And I like that it's showing that she can do more than just sing, that she can rap as well. So she's got the ability to be a musician in multiple facets, and the fact that she put that song on there when all of the other songs are not like that was a really good choice.
Yeah, one thing about this record is it's very obvious that she's super diverse in what she can do.
Yes.
Because all of the songs, although they do have elements that remind me of the early to mid 2000s, I keep saying.
Right.
They're all different.
Yes.
Introducing, like I said, is more grand. The one feels a lot more smaller, I guess.
Yes.
And
it's
then
a lot
more
On My Knees,
faded.
and then you have that, and then you have the ones that are just 1 minute songs. So yep, it's all over the place, but it's great. She for her solo album, Genia, if you ever see this, you did a great job.
Yeah, we honestly really enjoyed it a lot, and we're looking forward to what you do in the future.
So we're going to end every podcast with a quote from a musician, but the quote is actually from one of their songs. It's a song lyric. So this week I chose Polo G, and it is everybody goes through something. It's all about perseverance. And that is 100% true. Everybody has something that's going on in their lives, but perseverance will get you through every time. It may not be easy, but it'll get you through.
Well, with that being said, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share. If you know anyone that would be interested in watching me and my mom talk about music, it would be cool if you could expose them to this video. And yeah, like I said, my name is Joe.
I'm Joe's mom.
And we are Eastside Vibes. And have a great day. Thank you.
Bye.